Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Empowered Living Podcast by Empowered Life Church. We hope it blesses you. Good morning. Is anybody else nervous, or is it just me? Good. There's a couple of you. Excellent. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Tyler. My family, we've been coming to Empowered Life Church for about 8 years now. I think this fall will be 8 years. A long time. Yeah. I help out. They call me the director of sight and sound team, but I have an amazing team that does really awesome things. So you see me a lot in the back. You don't see me very much up here. I also get to play on worship team every once in a while when I'm not doing sound, which I do enjoy that. And this is my first Sunday speaking, which is super rad. I'm excited. Been a while, but yeah. Last year I started kind of teaching, facilitating connection codes. It was a relationship course that we did. And then this year, my wife and I, we are doing Danny Silk's Keep Your Love On course, which is happening right now. Shameless plug. Y'all can attend if you want to. On Wednesday nights, we've done week 2, so there's 4 more weeks left. It's a really cool course. And actually what I'm talking to you today about is kind of the stuff that I've been learning in connection codes and kind of giving a little like sneak preview of, not connection codes, I apologize, Keep Your Love On. So I'm talking about things that I've been learning in this Keep Your Love On course that I've been working through. So a lot of the source material is coming from Danny Silk and that course, which I think is really good. There's a lot of really good principles in there. Really quick, since I haven't spoken a lot up here, one of my verbal crutches is you. I use the word you. So please understand, I'm not saying it from a stance of like, me up here and you down there. It's not my heart when I say that. It's just kind of like the you, like us, just like the etheric, proverbial you. So if it sounds like I'm like pointing at you, I'm not. So just forgive me if I say something like that, okay? It's just one of my things. My wife and actually, we had a really good conversation one day. She was saying like, I kind of feel a little, when I was up here teaching, almost like hypocritical because I'm teaching these things on relationships and talking about it, but I'm not necessarily seeing them active in my own home, which, one, if I'm going to be teaching it, I need to be working it out in my house, in my home. But the way that I explained it to her is I don't come at it as an expert. I don't have the ability to make a switch in my mind. We've been married for 19 years. That's a lot of years of relationship. Thank you. It's a lot of years of relationship and a way of doing things. And I kind of explained it like when I go to my chiropractor, he cracks 2 things, my neck and my lower back. And the way that he explains it is like your back muscles are these big muscles that form these long memories. And you crack them into place and it feels good, but then they kind of just go back to where they previously were. So this is a journey that I'm on, and I see stuff like this, like connection codes, like Keep Your Love On. And the way that I process it is like, hey, that's a really good, set the bar. That's where I want to go. That's where I want to be. I'm not there now. I don't claim to be there now, but that's where I'm heading, and that's my goal. So that's my heart in communicating. Does that make sense? Yeah, we all on the same page? Okay, perfect. Good. So 3 things that I want to talk about today, and I'll do them as quickly as I can. And that is this idea of powerful people versus powerless people. And not in conjunction of like, against each other. It's more of a mindset of a powerful mindset versus a powerless mindset. We all have the ability to live and operate in a powerful mindset. And I want to talk about, just paint a picture of some differences of what it looks like to have a powerless mindset versus a powerful mindset. And you're going to start to hear those words come up from the leadership team at the church here. We're going to kind of change the vocabulary of how we talk. We believe that we are all powerful people and we all have the capacity to be powerful people. So that's verbiage that's going to come up a lot. So I'm going to try to just kind of paint a picture of what that stuff may look like. We're also going to talk about, Danny Silk calls it the irresponsibility cycle. Ivan says the drama triangle. It was actually, I think, a psychologist back in the 60s coined a term called triangulation, is really where this comes from. But it is a very damaging way of doing things, and it's a very damaging process if you get involved with it. And I'm going to talk about some ideas on how to get out of it if you maybe find yourself in it. And lastly, this is kind of tricky. I'll do my best to kind of paint a picture, is boundaries. Boundaries are kind of hard because they're the point of where friction happens, where my boundaries come up against your boundaries. But I'm going to try my best to reframe them in a way that is maybe a little bit more tangible and makes sense, and we'll go from there. We're going to have a good time. Cool? Yes. Okay. So, are we good on this? I have like a ringing. Just, am I talking too loud? Okay, all right. Sorry. This room is very hard with acoustics. You do not know the amount of work we put in to cutting out all of the frequencies. It's a tough job. So, sorry, I'm not calling you guys out, sound team. You're doing an excellent job. I deal with it every Sunday. Okay, so, moving along. My brain thinks in bullet points. So, when I speak, I kind of talk in bullet points. Just heads up, that's how I work. That makes sense to me, is how I roll. So first of all, we're going to talk about powerful versus a powerless mindset, because it is a mindset. If you have, and once I kind of explain through some of this stuff, maybe you identify that you're like, wow, I do have some powerless thought processes in my life. Doesn't mean you're stuck there. It just means recognizing that maybe we need to change and shift the way that our mind thinks and the words that we say coming out of our mouth. Let's do a Bible verse, make it an official church service. Can you do that first Bible verse? 2 Timothy 1 verses 7. I like the Amplified Bible. I know Ivan teaches a lot about out of the NASB, but I like Amplified. It's cool. So it says, "For God did not give us a spirit of timidity or cowardice or fear, but he has given us a spirit of power and of love and of sound judgment and personal discipline, which are abilities that result in a calm, well-balanced mind and self-control." That's a good verse. The word there, power, is the word dunamis, and our pastor back in Wyoming long time ago always used to say that's where the word dynamite came from. And that's the type of power that this is. I did a quick little Google search on dunamis, and it popped up a website, is dunamis power, which I think is really cool, because this is saying he's giving us power, that same word, dunamis, which means he's giving us a part of his spirit to accomplish this. I think that's great. So, painting a picture of some qualities of what a powerless person may look like. A powerless person is always trying to make other people take responsibility for their, powerless person's, half of a relationship. And I apologize, I forgot to preface. A lot of this is in the world of dealing with relationships, whether that be a marriage relationship, a friendship relationship, a work relationship. It's interacting in relationship with others is how a lot of this is applied. So powerless people always try to make the other person take care of their own half of that relationship. They might say things like, "It's your job to do my half of us," or "It's your job to make me happy. It's your job to calm me down. It's your job to make me love you." Those are some of the mindsets that a powerless person may have. Powerless people have this belief that the world around them is much more powerful than who is inside of them. They're constantly looking for things that they need to gain control over and manipulate so that they will be all right. They act out of self-preservation, and they're kind of control freaks trying to control everybody around them all the time. Powerless people, they carry this idea that you make them angry and you make them miserable and you make them upset. It's almost like they have this thought that you have a remote control and you're like clicking what emotion they're going to have. It doesn't quite make sense, because if I had a remote control to control my wife's emotions towards me, angry is not going to be one of those buttons that I choose, right? I'm going to break that button off there. I'm going to choose, what's up? I'm going to choose, I like you. I'm going to choose, you're awesome, right? So, but powerless people, they have this idea that it's your responsibility for the way that they're acting. Powerless people believe that it's other people's job to manage them. What they're kind of doing is they're projecting responsibility out to other people in response of what's going on inside of them. And they're expecting people to take care of their half of things. Essentially, they're not taking responsibility for their own life and their own actions. And this is kind of a tricky one. And I caught myself doing that just this week, okay? The words that they use. Powerless people use phrases like, I have to and I can't, okay? Things like, I have to pay my bills. I have to go to church. I have to go to work. I can't stay up late. I can't go and hang out with you. I can't do that thing. I could never tell them that. There isn't a powerful outside force controlling them. There's no outside force controlling us. Do you have to pay your bills? You don't have to pay your bills. You won't get electricity and your cell phone won't work. But you don't have to pay your bills. No one's making you pay them. You don't have to come to church today. I super appreciate that you did. Thank you. You don't have to go to work. Nobody has to go to work. You're not going to get a paycheck, and then you can't pay your bills. But nobody's making you do that. So I was, this week, I woke up Wednesday or Thursday, and I was like, man, I want to sleep in. I don't feel like going to work. And I was like, oh, I can't sleep in today. Maybe I'll sleep in on Saturday a little bit. And I was like, wait a minute. I can sleep in. Nobody's going to stop me from sleeping in. I mean, my wife might come in and be like, hey, get to work. Get a paycheck to earn. Get a house to pay for, right? No one's making me get out of bed. No, I'm choosing to wake up today. I'm choosing to go to work. I'm choosing to support during their day and mess up their day. They live anxiously and they want control of other people. They're control freaks because they're so scared that something may come across and order their day. Their whole day is spent trying to control other people so that they can self-protect themselves. Don't say that. You're going to trigger me. I can't handle that. Don't wear that T-shirt. I can't read that. You're going to trigger my, oh, I read that on Facebook. I can't. Now I got to comment. No, you don't. Okay? Think about Dory in Finding Nemo. Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. You don't have to stop at everything you disagree with. So many things. Then you start reading the comments on social media and you start reading it's like, oh my gosh, I can't even engage in the stupidity right there. Just keep scrolling. Find a cat video. Like, seriously. All right. When something happens to powerless people, they blame that thing for the way they live or what happened to them. They blame the thing for why they're disrespectful or why they're late. They blame the way for the way that other people are treating them. They're basically saying that you're getting what you gave me, which means that you have control over me, which is not correct. That's not how we operate. That's not the way to do things. So, does that kind of paint a picture of what it might look like for powerless people and how they live? Like I said, it's more of a mindset shift. And this isn't calling out if you're like, oh my gosh, I do some of those things. It's okay. Just recognize it. Change the way you think. It's simple. It's not like you're a bad person and you're stuck as a powerless person for forever. No, everybody can be a powerful person. Okay? So here's some of the qualities of a powerful person. Powerful people understand that the choices I make in my life determine the quality of my life. What's that old saying? You made your bed, sleep in it. Right? Simple. The decisions that I make today, I will be living in tomorrow. Simple. My thoughts, my beliefs, my character, my emotions, my actions and habits, and my behavior, those are formed inside of me, and then I bear the fruit of that. For powerful people, it can be gray skies out there, but it can be sunny in here. Now for me, I don't like summer. So it can be nasty and hot out there, but it's an overcast day at the beach in here, right? Okay? In a relationship, powerful people, in a relationship, the attitude that powerful people have is, I require that I bring high levels of respect and responsibility into this relationship. And I require the same of you. If you're coming in a little low, I'll let you know. And then I expect you to manage yourself in order to protect our connection. That's the goal, is a loving connection in relationship with people. And powerful people understand that. Powerful voices say, I won't, I choose to, and I will. Okay? I thought it was really cool. So a couple of years ago, my wife was in Wyoming visiting family, and her dad had suffered some series of heart attacks. So he was on a low-salt diet. So everybody out there was eating low salt. She came home and she was like, I haven't been in pain for a month because I'm eating 0 salt, super low sodium diet. So guess what our family did? We are now on a low sodium diet. But for the longest time, I would hear her say things like, oh, I can't eat that, it's got too much salt in it. Can't eat that, it's got too much salt in it. But over the last year, it's really impressed me. From none of this stuff, just of her own, she would say things like, you know what? I can eat anything I want. I can put anything in my mouth that I want. I choose not to put that in my mouth. I choose not to eat foods that are stupid high in sodium. And it was a really cool thought process, and I'm super impressed just by just that simple thing of taking that ownership, taking responsibility. It's not saying that I can't. It's no, I'm in control of what goes in my body. I'm in control of what happens, and I understand that. So I think that's a really cool real-world example. I kind of said this, powerless people understand that they require respect and responsibility in all of their, did I say powerless? I apologize. Powerful people understand that they require respect and responsibility in all of their relationships. And powerful people, they know how to set limits with abusive people. They know how to say yes, and they know how to say no. We'll kind of get into this a little bit more when I touch on boundaries. But they know how to handle, they know how to walk away when a conversation gets gross, gets disgusting. And I thought it was kind of funny. I was listening to a message that Danny Silk taught, and he was saying about interacting with people, and if the conversation just starts to not go anywhere and get really gross and become kind of abusive, he was like, I'm going to end this conversation, and here's the amazing thing is that everywhere my feet go, my mouth and my ears go. I'm going to take off, and I'll continue this conversation later when we can have a respectful conversation. I think that's really cool. Powerful people manage themselves no matter what you do. They understand that I'm in control of me. I can't control you. I can't make your decisions for you. I'm not going to make those decisions for you, but I will manage me. And that's how powerful people. Powerful people's involvement in a relationship is this. It's three basic things. My kids used to watch that cartoon, Agent Steps. 3 easy steps. I choose you. I choose you no matter what. I manage myself no matter what you're doing. It's not based on your actions. And my goal is a loving connection. That's how powerful people approach relationships. And I believe there's no powerless people in the kingdom of heaven. We have the power of God operating inside of us. We have the ability to act and live as powerful people. So, how does it work in relationships when we start mixing this stuff up? It gets pretty interesting. So you're two powerless people in a relationship together. They're both expecting the other person to do all the work. They're expecting the other person to make them feel happy, accepted, loved. They carry this attitude that I'm acting this way because you didn't make me feel blah, 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 however they need to. So my actions are a response to what you're giving me. Essentially, they're taking no ownership of this relationship, and they're taking no ownership of it. That relationship will literally go nowhere unless those individuals decide to change and make a difference. The next mixture would be a powerful person getting tied up with a powerless person. Basically, this is codependency. We don't like this. We don't need this. The powerless person will find a powerful person, and that powerful person knows how to manage themselves. Powerless person says, hey, you make me feel like sunshine and rainbows. This is awesome. Let's start dating. Let's get married. Let's hang out. Let's do all these things because you make me feel better. The powerful person may say, I think I can do that. I think I can work harder on your life than you're working on your life. That sounds like fun. Let's do this thing. Okay? What happens is one person believes that they can actually make somebody happy. The powerful person believes they can make the powerless person happy. The powerless person believes it's the powerful person's job to make them happy. It doesn't work. It's foolish to think that you can make somebody else happy if you don't know how to make yourself happy yourself. Okay? Now, that's not to say I receive joy when I hang out with my wife. I receive joy when I hang out with my friends, but it's not their job to make me happy, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So, no codependency. Okay. Lastly, when we have two powerful people working together in a relationship, this is the goal. Two powerful people with a commitment, both of them saying, I choose you, and I require that I bring high levels of respect and responsibility into this relationship, and I require the same of you. And my goal is a loving connection between the two of us. That is a great relationship. That is what we want to work towards. Are we there yet? Maybe. But at least that's the goal of where we're heading. Cool. So, does that paint a good picture? Powerless versus powerful people? All right. So, we're going to live powerless, right? No, gosh, did I just say that? Oh, I got to keep my mind. We're not going to live powerless. We're going to live powerful. Sorry. I can speak. I really can. Okay. So, next thing I want to talk about really quick is this idea of, like I said, Danny Sill calls it the irresponsibility cycle. Ivan refers to it as the drama triangle. Back in the 60s, a gentleman named Stephen Karpman coined it as triangulation. But it's this idea of causing drama. And we don't like that. Okay. The pure, genuine form is simply this, that there's two people that have a conflict. They bring in a third person. They bring in a third person to mediate that conflict, and resolution occurs. Okay? That's fine. That's good. I'm going to talk about the icky version of what this looks like. So, step number 1, find a bad guy. Okay? You might live with them. You might be sleeping in the same bed with them. You may have given birth to them. They may have given birth to you. If all else fails, trusty old Facebook. There's plenty of bad guys out there on Facebook that you can get offended over. Okay? Once you have your bad guy, you transfer responsibility to them to why you are feeling an injustice and why you're going to have the day that you're going to have. Now, I have just become the victim. The victim is the powerless person who takes no responsibility for how they behave. They say things like, I can't be held accountable. I'm the victim in this situation. Okay? I want to hard stop really quick, sidestep this conversation, just to make one thing clear. There are very real victims who have legitimately been victimized by crimes or things outside of their control that wasn't their fault. They've sought professional help, form of law enforcement, HR departments at work, professional counseling. These are not the people that I'm talking about. Just to make that very clear, because I am using the word victim, okay? I'm targeting irresponsible, powerless people who find joy in causing drama because they take no responsibility actions. Cool? Okay, good. All right. So now that we have our bad guy, and now that we're the victim, we need to find the rescuer. Victim goes and finds the rescuer. They complain to the rescuer about the bad guy. And then rescuer goes to the bad guy, points their finger, tells them how mean they've been to the victim, throws a couple Bible verses at them to make them feel bad. Okay? The bad guy's like, where did you come from? Why are you even a part of this? The rescuer is usually a person that's like, well, I don't have any control over my own life, so I figured I'd just meddle in your life. Okay? Now we have a drama triangle. A victim, bad guy, and a rescuer who had no business being there in the first place. Okay? Here's where it gets good. Okay? Bad guy is like, why are you coming at me, rescuer? They go and find a rescuer. Now the bad guy has just become the new victim. They go find a rescuer. That rescuer now goes to the bad guy. No, the original rescuer. That rescuer now becomes the new bad guy. And the cycle continues, and the cycle continues. But where's the original victim? They're off being responsible. They transferred responsibility for that problem way long ago, and it spiraled out of control clear over there. Okay? We don't want to be involved with this. Okay? Oh. So, to recap. To be a part of an irresponsibility cycle, find a bad guy. We absolve any ownership from the victim. And then we find a rescuer who has no business being involved with this in the first place to come in and pretend to save the day, but really they're just causing more issues. Okay? As a powerful person, there are ways that you can stop this drama triangle. Okay? So we'll start with the victim. We'll go with there. An injustice has occurred to you, right? I'll use the example. Jordan, I'm gonna pick on you. Jordan didn't, but let's just say he made fun of my shoes, okay? My shoes have little, like, toes on them. They're not toe shoes, but they have little toes. Jordan made fun of my shoes. He said they look weird because they got toes on them, okay? Now, if I was a victim, I'd go find a rescuer. Ross, you're big and intimidating. Jordan made fun of me. He said my shoes were weird. You gonna tell him off? Sweet. Ross goes back there. Bible says don't judge a man unless he walked a mile in their shoes. Yeah. Yeah, how about that? No. I'm a powerful person. If I get offended, I'll just go chat with Jordan. Hey, Jordan, remember we were all joking with each other this morning? Said my shoes look funny because I got toes in them? It kind of stung a little bit. Be like, oh, man, I didn't mean for you to do that. Bro, hug it out. Good to go. Done. So there's a situation. Go talk to the person. Just have a conversation. When I was looking up triangulation, there's actually corporations. They have policies, non-triangulation policies, which means you can't get a third person involved. It means you grow up, own up, go talk to the person, have a conversation. Okay, figure it out. So that's how a powerful person deals with being in that victim role. Let's look about the powerful person in the bad guy role. So Jordan's a powerful person. I said, Ross, go talk to Jordan for me. Ross goes back there. Jordan says, hey, Ross, thank you for bringing that up. I'll go talk to Tyler. I'll take care of it. We're good. Ends the triangle. Right there. Comes back. He comes to me. Hey, Jordan says, hey, Tyler, Ross told me that you got all offended because I made fun of your toe shoes. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's like, okay, we're good, right? That's how a powerful person ends that cycle. And then the last one would be if you get invited to be the rescuer in this cycle, if you're a powerful person. Ross is a powerful person. I say, Ross, Jordan made fun of my toe shoes. Ross is like, okay, this is a no drama zone. I don't do that. So 2 options. You're going to go talk to Jordan, or I'm going to talk to Jordan for you. Either way, as soon as church is done, it's going to happen. So one of 2 things are going to happen. I'm going to get all offended and be like, you would never sell me out like that. Or I go talk to Jordan, because Ross made me. He taught me to be a powerful person. I'm powerful. Talk to Jordan. Hey, you made fun of my toe shoes. It hurt. Bro, hug it out. We're good. Okay? Or I get upset with Ross, and I never go talk to him about my drama ever again. Either way, it's a win-win for Ross. Because he helped my situation, or he communicated a boundary that, homie, don't do drama. We are not going to do this, and he's never going to have to put up with my drama ever again. Cool? Alrighty. So, I did find a Bible verse about this one. Do you want to throw up that one? Matthew 18, 16 through 17. It's not exactly, but we'll take it. If your brother sins, go and show him his fault in private. That's the big key right there. Just the 2 of you guys, in private. Go and show him your fault in private. If he listens to you, you've won your brother. Situation is done. Good to go. If he doesn't listen to you, take 1 or 2 people, or I can read, take 1 or 2 more with you. It's not sending people as rescuers. The group is going together to confront this particular brother, so that by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every fact may be confirmed. If he refuses to listen, tell it to the church, and so on and so forth. So, there is biblical reference for dealing with those situations one-on-one. We are called to be powerful people. We can manage our emotions, and we can handle those conversations. Alrighty. Does that work? Drama triangle? No drama? We ain't gonna do that, right? And if we are finding ourselves in a drama triangle, we know how to get out of it. We don't do that. All right. Last thing I want to touch on here is boundaries. Yeah. So I'll say boundaries, limits, and levels of access kind of work hand in hand. So if I say one or the other, it's the same concept. Fair? Okay. So these can be a little tricky. It can feel like you are unapproachable or don't want people around you. So I think maybe spending a minute or talking through this, redefining what boundaries are and why we communicate them will be helpful in our quest for a powerful life. So people have different levels of access. There are different levels of access that we all have with each other. I deal with people's boundaries on a weekly basis. I am a property appraiser for Jackson County. Part of my job is I actually go out to properties and do inspections on homes. I deal with people's boundaries all the time. Gates. Locked gates. Pull up to a house, there's a locked gate. We don't want you in here. Okay? Just leave you a note, let you know why I showed up. So, people have boundaries. People put gates in front of their house. It's an example of a boundary. Super simple. Just because we are in a relationship doesn't mean that you have unlimited access to me. Certain people do, but not everybody. My family does. If my phone goes off, and if it's just a phone number, guess where that goes? Voicemail. If I see your name on caller ID, then I'll make the decision if I want to answer that phone call or not. If it's my wife, that phone call is getting answered. If I could, maybe not erase every definition of what a boundary is, but maybe just replace or offer a newer version or a different version, it would be this. Boundaries allow us to communicate the value that we place on something. Okay? So one more time. Boundaries allow us to communicate the value we place on something. So if I took my wallet out of my pocket and I just threw it in the middle of the floor, what value would I be showing that I place on my wallet? Not very much, because y'all would have access to it. Guess that means there's nothing important in there, okay? But what if I took that same wallet? What if I told you guys, hey, I went down to the bank yesterday and I bought a security deposit box, like Jason Bourne, and I put my wallet in there. How much value does that communicate my wallet has now? Significantly more value. So boundaries communicate the value that we place on something. Boundaries are kind of hard because there's tangible friction. It's the point that maybe our boundaries don't line up, or maybe we have unrealistic expectations of one another. But as powerful people, it's important to know our boundaries and communicate them properly to those around us. Not being able to communicate them well or clearly can be a sign of being a powerless person. God has boundaries. You want to put that last verse up there? Psalms 24. We'll just do, 3 through 4. Psalms 24, 3 through 4, again in the Amplified Version. It says, "Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord, and who may stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, he who has not lifted up his soul to what is false, nor has sworn oaths deceitfully." Okay? So to get to the mountain of the Lord, there is a boundary. He set you have to be at this level in order to come this far. Okay? So boundaries are good. I won't go into the whole story, but Danny Silk kind of tells this funny story about people driving by your house all day, and somebody pulls in and comes into your yard and comes into your door, and he brings them inside. But if we think about, I guess, boundaries, who gets to sleep in your bed? Right? There's a boundary. There's only a couple people that get to sleep in my bed. My wife, my dogs, my kids once in a while. I love you all. I have a really nice hide bed. Pulls out. You ain't sleeping in my bed. That is a boundary that I have. Okay? We have some friends, and I highly respect these guys. Years ago, we have kids that are about the same age, so they were significantly younger, and they needed their daughter babysat just for a couple hours on one day. And I messaged them, say, hey, I'm off today, I'm not doing anything. Bring her over to my house. She can chill with me for a little while. And they're like, hey, thank you very much for offering that, but we don't leave our daughter in a home alone with a guy ever. Not grandpa, not uncle, not brother. So it's not you. It's just, we don't do that. That's one of our boundaries. Fortunately, I handled the situation well. I could have gotten all offended, be like, you've come over to my house before. I've come over to your house before. Our children play. Your kids know me. Why would you not trust me? But I didn't. I thought it was really cool. I was like, man, I applaud you. That's awesome. More power to you. Thank you for communicating that. There's no issue here, you know? So I thought that was a really cool boundary that my friend set up. So another thing with boundaries is if I don't understand my value and my purpose, I'll have a hard time setting boundaries because I don't know the value that I need to communicate to others. So knowing your value, knowing your purpose, knowing that you're a powerful person helps in communicating those boundaries to other people. I can't tell you what your boundaries are going to be. I can tell you my boundaries, I can communicate those. Okay? Boundaries aren't meant to protect me from other people. They're kind of like the fence in the front of my yard. They're to keep in what I want to keep in, and I manage me inside of that boundary. And they also keep out what I want to keep out. And kind of back earlier when I was talking about powerful people having a conversation that starts to go south, one of their boundaries could be, hey, this conversation isn't healthy. You're yelling at me, call me dirty names. I will continue this conversation when your voice is as calm as my voice. But for now, my ears and my mouth are going to go where my feet go, and we're going to peace out. We'll do this later. Next time those two individuals get together, if the conversation starts to go south again, and powerless person, powerful person, gosh, I gotta remember that. I will. I know what I want to say. I apologize. Powerful person, say, hey, conversation's not going the right direction again. I'm gonna peace out. Hopefully, that other person will have learned that what I said is what I did, and if they really want connection, I'll calm down. We'll have a loving conversation, and we can interact together. Boundaries are limits that I put on me. They're not on you. I don't put boundaries on you. I put boundaries on me. Boundaries also communicate my value for my family and the position that they hold in my life. So yesterday, we were invited to a birthday party, and my son and I had already scheduled to go play airsoft, and we handled it right. It wasn't a big conversation, but a bad way that this could have turned out is if I would have canceled on my son and said, hey, buddy, we can't go play airsoft because we have to go to this birthday party. So I'm communicating that he no longer has value, that my friend's birthday party has more value than my son. That's not okay. So fortunately, I made the right decision. My son and I, we skipped the birthday. My wife and my daughter, they went to the birthday. My son and I went and played airsoft. It's communicating value that you're more important than hanging out with friends, that I choose you over going with friends. So how do we set those limits? I can start with it. We have to have value for ourselves. I have to value me so that I understand what my boundaries are. I must take care of myself first. Y'all ever been on an airplane? I had a bad experience a couple years ago flying, so I don't like airplanes anymore. I don't like heights. So airplanes already were just like, so it's been a while since I've been on an airplane. But they give you the little rundown. The oxygen masks fall from the ceiling, and you're done having a panic attack because something happened to the airplane. Okay, what do? Do you go around and stick everybody else's oxygen mask on them? No. You take care of yourself first. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first so that you can breathe and that you can actually function to then take care of other people. Okay? So we have to take care of ourselves. We have to know what we're doing. Okay? And then in communicating boundaries, what we're doing is telling other people what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to operate. Don't tell people what they need to do or try to make everybody else fit your narrative, but this is what I'm going to do. I control me, and I take responsibility for me. I don't know how you're going to respond to that because I don't control you, but this is what I'm going to do. Tell others what you're going to do, and then do it. That kind of wraps up what I have to say. Awkward ending. So there are a couple more things. So, sorry. Good job being on it. Okay. Those are the 3 big takeaways that I've been learning through this series of Keep Your Love On, which again, Wednesday nights, 6 o'clock, here at the church. You're all invited. There's still 4 more weeks. Big things. I'm a powerful person. In relationship, I choose you. And I desire a loving connection. We don't get involved with drama triangles. They're not healthy. They don't do anything functional. They don't do anything good. And I'll learn my value and I'll communicate boundaries to manage myself and keep my family safe. So, I thought it'd be fun to do a couple declarations. So, can we all stand up really quick? All right. You guys want to do number 1? Okay. I'll count down from number 3. We're going to say this. I'm a powerful person, all right? I'll count down from 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm a powerful person. Sounded good. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. I am a powerful person. Feel good? All right, let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. I am a powerful person. All right, turn to somebody and say, man, you look like a powerful person. All right, good. Man, you look powerful. All right, for this other one. Declaration number 2. I need you all to do this. Can you snap? Okay. Snap right here. Okay? Now, I need you to dig in and find a little bit of sass. Can you find some sass? Okay. Head is opposite hand. No drama. Okay? 1, 2, 3. No drama. All right. I think we need to do that one more time. I think we can do good. 1, 2, 3. No drama. All right. Okay. And you say that when someone comes to you, tries to get you to be a rescuer. No drama. Not here. Ain't gonna happen. Okay. Last one, declaration number 3. I'll say it, and then I'll count down, okay? I am valuable, and I will communicate my boundaries clearly, okay? 1, 2, 3. I am valuable, and I will communicate my boundaries clearly. Heck yeah, you will. Okay. All right, I'm going to pray over you guys, and we can just do a little bit of instrumental music. We don't need the worship team to come back up. All right. God, I release power over everyone in the room. I release value over everyone in the room. I pray that these concepts would sink deep into our hearts and minds. God, help us to live.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Empowered Living Podcast by Empowered Life Church. We hope it blessed you. Subscribe so you can stay up to date with our latest podcasts. If you'd like to learn more about us, check us out at facebook.com/ELC-talent or check out our website, www.empoweredlifechurch.org. Have a blessed week.